Hello? It's me. And it's midnight. It's a witching hour. And I am on my way over to Tanya's house. I just did a live stream. I was going to go over to her house and do it, but I ended up not doing it. Because it was just easier to stay at my house and get it done tonight. Although I think that she kind of likes me doing it over there. Her husband's out of town. And so I think she feels kind of comforted by me being there and doing it. So I said, well, girl, I'll come over. So anyway, what a day. Like, we slept in today. The storms were so horrible late last night, and I could not sleep to save my life. And like, I got home and I was trying to sleep, and Alex was like at his girlfriend's house. Like, they stayed up and talked forever last night. And so I was like, be safe, because the rain's like really bad outside. And he finally came home, and I was trying to sleep, and Boo Radley was all over me because he hates the storms. And I need to get those thunder jacket things because he gets so scared, and it makes me so sad. He doesn't understand it. And I talk to him like real gently. I'm like, oh, Boo Radley, it's okay, honey. It's okay. But he still just like gets scared. He just like crawls up all the way up on me, so I can't sleep. And I literally fell asleep at like 6:30 or 7 finally, I think. So we slept in late, and then we went to brunch. Alex wanted nachos from Champs, so we went to Champs. And I was like this is really weird what happened. I was really craving a chicken salad sandwich. And like, they used to make their chicken salad there, and it was like white chicken meat with like grapes and almonds, and not almonds, but like pecans and stuff, and it was really good. I don't know what happened to me, like, honest to God. And like, I've talked on here before about being a vegetarian and how I was a vegetarian for like 5 years, but that sandwich came and I could not eat it. I don't know what happened. It was the weirdest thing, like. And I don't mean this in a bad way, I mean it in the bird way. It was like foul. You know what I mean? Like FOWL, like it was like birdie. Like, it didn't look that way, and I took a bite of it and it tasted completely fine, but like I couldn't stomach it. It was almost like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like how like women when they're pregnant get kind of weird by certain foods. That's how I was. I was like, I can't eat it. And the waitress was so nice. She was like, is there something wrong with your sandwich? Do you want to take it home? I was like, there's nothing wrong with my sandwich. I just can't do it. And she was like, well, what's wrong with it? And she was really super sweet. And she took it off the bill, and I was like, you don't have to do that. I don't mind paying for it. There's nothing wrong with the sandwich. But I was like, that was how I was right before I became a vegetarian, before, like, I couldn't eat meat anymore. Like, I just consciously couldn't do it. It was just something inside of me that made me sick. So that was that. And now I'm starving. And a couple days ago, I had bought those peanut butter balls. Do you know what I'm talking about? They kind of like by Jiffy or something. And so I ate the rest of those. And we watched RuPaul's Drag Race and Untucked. And then I laid down and took a nap. I was exhausted, and Alex was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I was trying to sleep. Oh my God, they were screaming and cackling at each other so loud that I couldn't even like fall asleep at all. And so then I got up, and then he was coming to bed. We just kind of laid around all day long and didn't do anything, and he has to be up super early tomorrow. So I was like, well, I'm going to do a live stream and I'm going to go over to Tanya's. He's like, okay, babe. That was my day. And my readathon on my BookTube channel, I did not do very well on catching up on books. I was actually thinking about this today because I was like, okay, so May is my 1 year on YouTube. Can you guys even believe it? I mean, like, Alex and I had a channel a couple years ago, like 4 years ago, that we posted videos on, but it would never like we never really got into the whole YouTube thing. Like, I didn't talk to other YouTubers. I didn't know other YouTubers. We just made videos and posted them, you know, and then I had another channel that was my main channel that I like privated all those videos because they're silly. And but like so like this is like my official year of being on YouTube. May 11th was the first video that I posted on BookTube. And so I was thinking about it tonight because I'm like a believer that, like, you know, I used to do reviews with a lot of the people that I would work with, and, you know, I would say like, okay, so what is this? Like, I was a supervisor for people for a long time, and I'd be like, what do you want this next year to look like for you? Like, what do you want this next, you know, era or chapter of your life to look like? And I think it's a good question, you know, like, what do I want to do now? Like, I've stayed on YouTube for a year and I've enjoyed it. And not so much like, what do I want to do next? Like, excuse me, do I want to get rid of my YouTube channel because I don't want to do that. Like, I love it. I'm so passionate about doing it. And I even kind of get frustrated sometimes when I can't think of a video to do. And on BookTube, it's not so hard. And on my vlog channel, it's not hard. And like literally every day, like the night before, I make a list of what I'm doing the next day. And then on the next page, I put like videos, and I put main channel, and then I put BookTube channel, and then I put vlog, and then I put my so-called healthy life. So I kind of like jot down some ideas, and I kind of know what I'm doing. Like tomorrow, I know like with my so-called healthy life channel, on that channel, which I would love for you guys to follow, every day I am posting a meditation and then the Pieces Every Step book. The last 2 days I skipped that channel because I kind of just wanted to like relax a little bit, but that won't be happening in the future. And those videos are super quick and easy to make, but so those are easy. The vlog I just put together. So really all I have to do is come up with a BookTube video and a video for my main channel. And that's really fun. Like I have a couple ideas for my main channel, some stuff that's like totally silly that I want to do, but I don't want to give away, but I'm going to do on here. So anyway, I love doing it, but it's like, okay, so what do I want like my next like year to look like? Like on BookTube, like what would be some of my goals on there? Like I want to go to a national convention next year on BookTube, like BookCon, BEA, or I want to go to Y'all Fest, which is in November, I think. So those are some of my goals for BookTube. And like I really want to interact more with a lot more BookTubers, because I've met a lot, but like I want to interact more, you know, on BookTube and really meet some people on there. And then on my main channel, I don't really know like what I want to do with it. Like it's always kind of just been this variety channel that I just like do what I want to do, and it's fun, and I just haha, you know. So I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. You know, like I used to think that like I wanted to set it up like on a schedule, and I'm not sure. Is that something that you guys would like? Like if, you know, one day was a magazine video and one day was, I don't know. Like I don't watch a lot of channels that have schedules like that. I feel like that's kind of almost a thing of the past on YouTube. I don't love it. It feels very trite to me, very planned. So I kind of just like doing what I like to do and having fun with it, you know? And like a lot of times for me, it's like getting up that morning and like talking to some of my other friends that are on YouTube and being like, so what's going on? What are the videos you guys are making? Whatever. Like a lot of times I get like ideas from that, or somebody will say, hey, you should make a video about this. You'll do it better than I would, or whatever. And like Dustin Daly is really good for giving me a lot of I owe him a lot of credit. He's given me a lot of ideas. If he did half the videos, the way that he tells them to me on the phone, the way that he does it on his channel, he would be exploding, because like he is like on it all the time with stuff that's going on with YouTubers. And I'm not just talking drama channels, I'm talking about YouTubers, like everybody. Like he knows everything. He and his boyfriend watch so many YouTubers. So anyway, so I don't know what I want to do, you know. And then my book will probably come out in the next year. Well, it will come out in the next year. And so that's my next thing. And then finishing up my third book, which I'm working on kind of right now. I have some ideas of some things that I would like to do that are kind of corny. Like, I would like to get some groups of my friends and recreate like episodes of TV shows and posting them as YouTube videos. Like an episode of Roseanne, and it would be like Melissa and I and Tanya and Alex and Jason, and we would like redo an episode, and like one of us would be like Darlene and one of us would be you get it? Like one of us would be Roseanne. I think that would be really cute. I also wanted to do like a 20-minute version of the original Halloween and like do it in like movie form. I just think stuff like that would be like, but like ad-lib it, right? Like so there would be no script, you would just ad-lib it. And I thought it would be really funny if like Melissa and I did the whole, because we both are obsessed with Halloween, if we did the whole thing in like 20 minutes and just ad-libbed the whole thing, but she and I played all the parts. I think that would be so hilarious. And like our dogs played parts. Like that's what I like about YouTube, is coming up and doing funny stuff, you know, and doing stuff that will make people laugh. I also love the endearing videos, you know, and talking about stuff that I think is really important. But for me, that has to kind of coincide with when an event is occurring, if that makes sense. So, I mean, it would be really easy for me to sit here and say, well, I'd like to like hit 100,000 subs. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't like to hit 10 million subs, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But like at the end of the day, as long as people are watching my videos and they're responding to it, I don't really care, you know? It's just fun to put stuff out there and have somebody respond to it, you know, in some kind of way. It's such a cool thing. So I've got to think about what I want my next year on YouTube to look like, you know, and have some goals for that. So that I'm kind of like not just mindlessly doing things. But I also think that like a lot of people that start thinking about it like as a career or like then it takes the passion away from it because they're so concerned like with views and subs that they're like in their head so worried about that, like, well, I only got so many views, or and then I think they kind of lose sight of why they began doing it to begin with. And you can tell in the videos because the videos just seem like they're trying to like this is a really sad example, and I really like her old videos, so I am really not bashing her, but like Hannah Hart, like her videos are not funny to me anymore. Like when she first started and did My Drunk Kitchen and all that kind of stuff, like she was absolutely hilarious, and what I related to was she was just this girl with the camera that started, and she just had such natural humor, right? But like I don't think she's that funny anymore. Like there is like all this water just standing on the road. I just don't think she's that funny. Like she doesn't just, you know, her videos to me today seem very programmed. Whereas like Colleen Ballinger and Miranda Sings, like I feel like she has stuck to what she does well, which is why I think she's so genius, you know, and like, and I throw that word around, genius, a lot, but it's true. I mean, it's the truth. Why I think she's so good at what she does, because she knows what works and she doesn't, you know, it's like if she invented 15 more characters and did them, it's like just she's doing what she knows she's good at and people enjoy. You know, and only when people stop wanting to watch it will she probably switch it and do something else. So it's interesting to me on YouTube. I think it's almost a little bit, people get a little full of themselves and a little arrogant and think like, well, you know, like, now I have this many subscribers. Well, don't forget how you got there. You got it because you exploded overnight with this viral video. Like Jenna Marbles is another person that I feel like has never sold out, you know? I mean, she still is the same person when I fell in love with her on that Disney Princesses video, you know? And like, I think that's the true form of an artist, is when they know where their like assets are and they're so good at, you know? Like if you think about people that you followed for 10 years, the reality is they probably haven't changed a whole lot. Glozell Green hasn't changed a whole lot. You know, that's why I love her. It's only when people start getting rather full of themselves and stuff and kind of are not what they used to be that you're like, what's going on here? Like this seems kind of fake to me. You know what I mean? So anyway. Well, listen, yo. Listen, yo. I'm almost at Tanya's. I guess it doesn't really matter how I look, does it? Because you know what? It's 12 o'clock in the morning. Who you gonna call out? Where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. To the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. I am so hungry right now because I didn't eat that chicken salad sandwich. And I need to eat something, and I don't know what I want. And I'm hoping that Tanya has cheese at her house because I love cheese. I'm like addicted to cheese. Do you guys like cheese? And then I'll probably help her fall asleep. She likes me just to sit there sometimes until when her husband's gone. She just kind of sit there sometimes, and she's got these two huge dogs, right? But to just kind of sit there until she falls asleep, and then when she falls asleep, it's like I just like sneak out, and she's like, and I lock the door behind me and all that stuff. So that is probably what I'll do, and eat a lot of cheese. I hope she maybe ordered pizza or Chinese or something. There's leftovers. I love that. When you go to people's house and they have leftovers. When I was growing up, I used to babysit people, and I loved when you would like babysit people and they had like leftover like fried rice, and I would eat. They'd say, whatever's in the fridge you can have, and I would totally eat it all. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you back in 2. So I'm leaving Tanya's, and it's like 1:45, and I just like ate my weight in cheese. She had like 5 kinds of cheese. I just sat there and ate it with Ritz crackers and peanut butter and Ritz crackers and orange juice. It was so good. I don't know why I'm laughing. And we watched The Kardashians, the one where Scott relapses. know what I think about that. Like, I don't even know that I really want to talk about it because I think it's so stupid, but it's like, so if I hope I didn't ruin it for you, but Scott relapses in Dubai. But it's like, if I had children with somebody that was such a horrific alcoholic, like, I don't know, like, having been through it and having worked in the field, it's easier said than done. But I feel like they allow so much stuff to just, like, happen. Like, Chloe's like, I'm gonna be so mad at him, I'm so mad at him, wait till I talk to him. Girl, like, what do you think talking to him is gonna achieve anything? Like, seriously? Like, if talking could change an alcoholic or an addict, there would be no reason for 12-step programs, and there would be no need for, you know, treatment facilities. I'm not talking about talking like in a 12-step group, because I think that there's no power greater than two alcoholics or two addicts talking to each other. I'm saying if my dad would have got so mad at me that he gave me a talking to, or let me, you know, we'll talk about this rationally, like that. I think when, like, family members and friends truly realize how powerless they are over the alcoholic and the addict is when things starts to change, and they're willing to set limits and boundaries, you know? The hardest thing for me working with alcoholics and addicts throughout the years was telling their parents that I cannot promise you that if what I tell, like, I can tell you what to do, but I can't promise you that if you do it, that they won't still end up dead or in prison. Like, that was so hard for me to do, but it's the truth, right? But we know that alcoholics don't change if they don't suffer consequences. So, you know, like, if you have a family member who's an adult and you've given them time and time and time again to get sober and they're still not doing it, then it's time for them to move out. You know, it's time for them to go move into a halfway house. Well, I'm not going to go move in a halfway house. Well, that's fine. Go find somewhere to live, but you're not going to live here anymore because I'm not going to enable you to continue to live here. Don't give them any money. You know, don't drive them places. You know, let them feel what it's going to feel like. They're not worried about you, you know? Selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our disease, you know? It's not about the drinking, it's not about the drugs, it's about the selfish behaviors that we have in us, you know, that hurt other people. And I think that's why the families of alcoholics and addicts are just so torn up, you know, because it just breaks their hearts. It's like, I don't know. So then watching that tonight, and his friends are so supportive of him, you know. They're so, because he's pissed because Courtney apparently is sleeping with somebody else. And so his friend says to him, he's walking out of this thing. I can't believe I'm talking about the Kardashians as if it's real life, but, you know. Walks out of this thing and is like, I bet you really want to get fucked up, or you're really ready for a drink. Why would you, if you were really somebody's friend and you really believe they had an alcohol or a drug problem, why would you say that to them? That's death to an alcoholic or an addict. Like, I think that's so sad. That doesn't make any sense to me. So we watched that, and then I was leaving, and Tani was starting to watch the Rodney King special on Netflix. She's been wanting to watch forever. And I do too, but I didn't want to stay anymore tonight. I wanted to listen to some of my audiobook. I can't believe it's May 1st. Is May 1st May Day? Why do I think that? All the lights at Burger King are open. I know Burger King is not open this late. If they were, I would totally be going through Burger King right now. Because I had that chicken salad sandwich and it was not good and I'm starving. But they have all kinds of things in their drive-through, so you can't drive through their drive-through. Oh, here's my McDonald's Coke from last night. Root beer, actually. I love root beer. I think my dad calls, there's like this lone geese, just like, look at this. There's just like this lone geese just out there. Do you see him? Hi, Mr. Goose. What are you doing, bud? Do you know geese are supposed to be really mean? He's just like hanging out all by himself. Look at him. I wonder what animals think of us. Do you think they think we're just so strange? He's probably like, who is that person over there with the camera and why is he shooting me? This is madness. I love the sound of a turn signal in a car. Is that so weird? Why? I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. Somebody commented on one of my videos and they were like, I love your simple life. And it's like, I can only tell my truth, okay? Like, that's all I have. At the end of the day, all I have is my truth, right? So my initial response to that is, my simple life, like, am I really that boring and simple? And then my second response to that immediately is, I really like my simple life too, you know? Why do we think that we have to be all this? Why do we think we have to have all this and be all that much more, you know? I do have a simple life, you know? I like it. I'm okay with it, you know? Like, we do a lot of exciting things. We travel to fun places. We go to music festivals and go, you know, to Chicago and around, you know, the Midwest and, you know, Florida and Miami and Las Vegas, and I love all that, right? But, like, I love my simple life. Like this, driving around, listening to an audiobook, or hanging out at Tanya's house, or Alex and I watching a movie, or RuPaul's Drag Race and having brunch, like, that's what I love, you know? Like, he said to me today, he was like, we haven't gone over to my mom's house in a while, and I was like, I know, because both of my nephews, Carlos and Sebastian, got haircuts, which basically means they just got their head shaved. And, but Carlitos wanted a mohawk, so Carlos, his dad, shaved him, shaved him a mohawk. It's so cute. And so Alex, I was like, well, when we're gonna go over, because, you know, Alex is leaving on Thursday late afternoon, early evening for Miami. It's PP and Peter's Bachelor Weekend. It's PP and Peter's Bachelor Weekend. Don't worry about us, cause we'll be just fine. Me and PP and Tucker, Boo, and Radley too. That just makes no sense. Oh well, it doesn't matter, it's just my song. Anyway, so I was like, when are we gonna go to your mom's house? And he was like, I don't know. He was like, well, whatever. I guess when I get back. I was like, okay. He's like, well, you could go over there. I was like, yeah, I could. And, so I've talked a lot about this on here before, and if you've been watching my vlog from the beginning, I love when I get people that say, I watched you at like 1,200 subs, or I watched you at like 600 subs, and they've like watched everything. Like, you guys have no idea what that means to me. Like, that means so much to me. Like, I was watching this tonight, you know, like, I was gonna say I will never be of like Kim Kardashian status of like fame. Like, I don't know that. I mean, nobody knows what their future holds, right? But she's like very afraid to do these public appearances now because of like what happened to her in Paris. And I said to Tanya, I said, can you even imagine going places and people being like treating you like they just would die to meet you? And Tanya was like, Peter, she was like, you have people that really like love you that much from your YouTube. And she's like, the difference is that you just are such a real person and you show who you are on camera. And I was like, no, but I don't think anybody would really like give a shit if they met me or not, you know, like, and so we were just talking about that and like different levels of like, you know, meeting people and who you would die. Like, I would die if I met Stevie Nicks, you know, I don't even know what I would say. But and the more people I've met, the more famous people I've met in my life, the less, like, the less impact it has on me that they're not just, we're all just people. I don't know if that makes sense. But the more celebrities you meet, it's like you realize we're all just people. And I've met quite a few celebrities in my life. So, and most of them are very, very genuine. We met Ariana Grande at Ultra a couple years ago. She was very friendly, very nice. It's interesting how many celebrities I've met in the rooms of a 12-step program. But I won't talk about that. But anyway, so, yeah. So we were watching that, and then, what was I talking about? Oh, the people that have been here, like, from the beginning. Like, you guys mean so much to me. You have no idea. Like, the hours that you have clocked watching my foolish videos, like, I just sometimes, like, it amazes me. I'm just like, this is the coolest thing, you know? This platform of YouTube allowing me to make a video and upload it, driving around in my car, being, you know, at my house or whatever, and uploading it, and lots of people watching it, and then responding to it. It's just amazing to me, you know? I love it. I love every bit of that. I think it's the coolest thing in the entire world. So, and then being able to interact with you guys on Snapchat and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, you know, it's just so cool. But anyway, you know, my aunt died in January. My aunt and uncle have this really cool condo that they redid a couple years ago. My aunt loved it. But I think it makes my uncle very sad to be there. And he really spends most of his time with my cousin Caroline and her son David and her husband Mike. And so Caroline was like, they were looking at different options of what they could do, but Caroline ended up hiring a contractor and moved in, like, the downstairs basement, because he has a really hard time walking up and downstairs because he's a heart patient. So the living room and, like, the dining room area, they, like, walled off and they made it into a master bedroom for him, and so he's moving in there next weekend. And so I was talking to her about that. It's just weird how, like, life changes, you know? Like, it's just, I don't know, I could get real sad thinking about it, you know? Like, it's strange to think that, like, my uncle's moving in with my aunt, or my cousin, you know, and that, like my mom and my aunt are never coming back, like, you know? And then you wake up and you're like, well, I'm 44. And 44 is not 70. And 70 is not old for a lot of people, you know? But, like, you wake up and you realize, like, where did the time go, you know? Which for me is why it keeps me in the present, you know? I've had a lot of people question me recently about why I end my vlogs by saying we're on borrowed time. So let me explain what that means. Being on borrowed time means that any of us could die at any moment, okay? The time that we're given is a gift. And so instead of us, like, living foolishly or taking for granted our time, okay? And it's about, and it's not a 12-step thing. It's not a 12-step thing at all. It's something that my mother used to say to me. When I would leave the house, she would say to me, don't forget, you know, she would give me a hug and she'd say, make the most of your life. We're on borrowed time. And so it was this thing that she always said to me about being very conscious of each moment is a gift. You know, there are people, as I speak, that are fighting for their very last breath. There are children, you know, that will not make it till tomorrow morning. And so for me, okay, in a philosophical construct, I could be any of those people. So therefore, I am on borrowed time. I have been since the moment I started having a beating heart and breathing. Life is a gift. You know, none of us are promised this, you know, that we're going to live past 10 or 20 or 30. And so it's really about a point of gratitude and realizing that from a spiritual place for me, you know, that this is a gift, and recognizing that God, that, you know, like, life for me is day after day on borrowed time, if that makes sense. I don't know. It was interesting because, like, when I went to Tennessee a couple years ago, we took, or Atlanta, we took our brother-in-law, Fufu, to a music festival, and he said, you know, he goes, you throw the word God around a lot. He goes, I've never noticed that until I've been, like, with you for a weekend. And I was like, well, what do you mean, Fufu? And he'll say, well, like, you'll say, like, this is a God moment. Or you'll say, like, you know, like, blah, 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 like, God has a plan for me or whatever. And he's like, are you talking, like, what are you, like, is that a Catholic God? Is that a Christian God or whatever? And I said, you know, like, and I don't really get into this a lot on here, but I will share a little bit for you. You know, for me, okay, having grown up I went to church, but having grown up spiritually in a 12-step program where a higher power is whatever you want it to be, and I think that's such a beautiful and amazing thing, I've basically taken a lot of ideas from different religious and philosophical backgrounds that all kind of center around kindness, love, compassion, righting your wrong, like not righting your wrongs, but like making up for your wrongs and being the best person that you can possibly be. For me, when I talk about God, that's what I'm talking about. It's not some huge thing that I bow down to, you know? But if that works for you, I think that's great. Like for my mother, you know, like she was very much a strong woman of faith, and I respected that. I do believe on a spiritual level that there is a greater, higher being. When I talk about God moments are things that like happen that are like strange that happen, you know, like a chance meeting, or like you say like, oh, God, like I need a new car, and then tomorrow you're like sitting at work and somebody says, you know, my brother-in-law just out of the blue says my brother is selling his car for $500, it's in like brand new shape. That like to me is a God moment. Does that make sense? Or like when things happen that just like, I don't know, like that's just like what a God moment is for me. Or, you know, like, so I would not define myself as a religious person. I would define myself as a spiritual person. And, you know, a lot of people ask me why I don't talk about religion and politics on my channel. And the reason is a lot of times it splits people. And I do believe that I have an obligation to talk about those things, you know, and I talk very openly about my spirituality, you know, in my personal life. I just do, because it's something that it just is who I am, you know. And I'm looking at borrowed time actually, because there's like a definition of it that I really like. An uncertain and usually uncontrolled postponement of something inevitable, used with living on. I think this is it. Generally, the idiom borrowed time means that the person has made many bad decisions that should have been brought great harm his or her way by now, and they are living on borrowed time before. No, that's not what it means to me. You got it wrong. A period of uncertainty during which the inevitable consequences of a current situation are postponed or avoided. I don't know, maybe my mom made it up, like that meaning of it. But I really think that what she meant was that, like, you know, like sooner or later we're all going to die, so we're kind of on borrowed time as it is, and so we might as well make the most of our lives while we're there. I think that's what she really meant by it. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I throw out so much shit. If it doesn't click, you don't have to click with it, you know, just take what you like and leave the rest. That's what I've always done with my life. I think that's the wonderful. I think that's what's so great about life, is that we don't have to all agree, you know? Like, not at all. We don't have to all like the same things. We don't have to all like the same people, but if we can do it in a kind way, in a compassionate way, without hurting other people, you know? People, a lot of times when they ask me about spirituality, they'll say, well, how do you know that there is a God? And I'm like, well, I think that that's where faith comes in, you know? And then they'll say, well, do you know that there is a God? Well, no, I don't know that there's a God. I don't, you know? Like, I mean, if I'm being realistic about it, I don't know. I'd like to think that there is. I'd like to think that there's a loving, caring, compassionate higher power out there, you know? I look at a tree and I think, I can't make that happen. And maybe that's science, you know? And most of it probably is, and maybe science is God, I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know about, but I like putting meaning to things in the world, you know, that things, I'm not a believer that everything in life happens for a reason, but I like to think that some things do. And that there's a connectiveness in the world. And maybe that makes me simple, and maybe that makes me innocent, and maybe I am, I don't know. But I'm okay with that, you know? Some of the most simple people I know are the happiest people I know. Sometimes driving down the street blasting music with the windows open, and the wind, you know, outside, and it being like, you know, 78, 80 on a warm summer night. It's just absolutely beautiful, and this moon, you know, full, just plump in the sky. Me driving out in the country and just listening to music or an audiobook, and I'm just like so in the moment. Like that for me is God, you know? Or standing on a beach and like the water like coming up over my feet. You know, like when you're standing like on the beach but in the water enough that you can see like all the little tadpoles, and it's like so warm, and it's just like in that moment it's so perfect, and it's almost like there's nobody else in the entire world with you. Like in that moment, like I feel like that is God. Or like when your heart is beating so fast, you know, and being so excited to kiss somebody that you know, are so like that first crush, you know. All of that I think is, you know, spiritual, of the spirit, of the soul. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's nothing, you know. But what do I lose by applying some meaning to these things in my life? So at the end, if there's nothing and it's all just totally black and forever and ever and ever, well, my life has had some meaning as a result of it. I've put some things to the meaning of it, you know? Maybe this meant something. Maybe this didn't. Maybe this person meant something. I think life is just so magical, you know? And I think the magic, and this is why I don't mind my simple life, I think the magic is in the smallness of life. You know, I think it's in a car ride, or laughing with a friend and you just can't stop, or crying over something and you just can't stop, or reading a great book, or having a great dessert, you know, or a great piece of fruit. Or hell, like, you know, like even when I smoke, like, you know, drinking a cup of coffee and smoking a cigarette and like just standing outside, you know, like that can be a really spiritual moment. I know it sounds like shit, but I'm just being honest, you know? All of it. Carving pumpkins. Trick-or-treating. Children running home from school on the last day. Finding a brand new book by your favorite author. Turning on the TV and randomly one of your favorite movies being on and having just started. Your favorite song coming on the radio. A snow day. A thunderstorm on a day that you just want to take a nap and you have nowhere to go. Tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. Pumpkin pie with whipped cream. The strawberry festival. Ice cream cones and real ice cream cones. All of it, you know? All of it so magical, I think. And so when I sit and I'm just like really still, like I could just go on for hours and hours and hours and just tell you all the things, you know? And couldn't you do the same thing? Couldn't you just like get a legal pad out and just like write down all the things, you know? Bunny rabbits, puppies, the smell of puppies, you know? Boo Radley laughing and Tucker running up and down on the bed, you know? And Pee-Pee sleeping in his little cave on the bed, and, you know, catching Alex laughing at me out of the corner of my eye about something funny that I said or did, you know? A candlelit dinner. Talking in the dark late at night, just the two of us, you know? sleeping bags with Snoopy on them that I had when I was a kid. Alex tonight was using these like pillows like on the couch when he was like watching TV, and one of them was these flannel sheets that I had back in it. One of them was, it was pillowcase, was this flannel sheets, or from the set of flannel sheets that I had when I was a kid that have like these lambs on them, these sheep. And I said, do you know what those are? And he goes, no, what are they? And I said, those are called counting sheep. And I had those when I was a little kid, and the whole idea was that you would like count the sheep on these to help you fall asleep. And I literally would lay there sometimes like on my side, kind of curled, and I go, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would listen to these old time radio tapes like The Shadow and Fibber McGee and Molly and Suspicion and all of these different ones, right? I love those old time radio tapes, and I always slept with a box fan. And sometimes my mom, like in the summer, would come and she'd put a pillowcase or pillow down the floor, and she would lay there until she fell asleep, and then she would, you know, and I would just count 1, 2, 3, listening to those old time radio tapes. If that's simple, you know, sign me up. Those are the moments of my life that have meant the most. I love it. I love all of it. I'm a little hungry. I don't think the cheese was that filling because I didn't eat. I love this French toast chapstick. But I didn't eat that sandwich at lunch today, and I'm starving. So I may go get a little snack. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.